OpenAI reportedly limited GPT-5.6 after a government request. For buyers and developers, that means GPT-5.6 access can shift before they can plan around it. The central question is, who gets to slow access to frontier AI? OpenAI, government officials, and customers now share the rollout risk. The signal to watch is whether this becomes precedent. The Axios report says the rollout was constrained after government pressure. OpenAI also says restrictions like this should not become normal. Those two claims create the real tension in the story. A one-time GPT 5.6 safety pause can be defensible. A recurring government review gate would change how developers and buyers get frontier models. The timeline is not just preview, test, deploy. First, GPT 5.6 enters the release pipeline. Then government concern changes the rollout path. After that, OpenAI has to explain the limit without normalizing it. That sequence puts policy pressure inside the product launch. On one side is public sector pressure to slow a powerful model. On the other side is OpenAI's need to control its own release cadence. Developers are stuck waiting for access clarity. Enterprise buyers have to plan around a moving availability target. That is a different risk than model quality alone. The power map has three actors. Government officials can create pressure before a model is widely available. OpenAI controls the product decision and the public explanation. Customers absorb the uncertainty when rollout rules change late. The leverage shifts when access becomes a policy negotiation. The next decision is whether this remains a one-off exception. If it is isolated, OpenAI can frame the delay as caution. If it repeats, government review becomes part of OpenAI's launch pattern. That would make frontier AI access less predictable. The precedent matters more than the single delay. What is overstated is the idea that every delay equals censorship. Safety pressure can be legitimate when model risk is uncertain. What is understated is the control question. If government pressure shapes GPT 5.6 launch timing, users need to know the rule. Without that rule, every rollout becomes harder to interpret. For developers, the practical issue is planning. Can they build around GPT 5.6 if access can shift after a request? For companies, the issue is procurement and compliance timing. For policymakers, the issue is transparency around intervention. The workflow impact starts before anyone writes code. The buyer risk is availability uncertainty. Teams can test model capability only after they can access the system. A government-requested limit changes the adoption calendar. OpenAI needs to explain what changed and how temporary it is. Otherwise, the market has to guess who is really in charge. GPT 5.6 is now a release control story. The open question is not only how capable the model is, it is whether government officials can slow GPT 5.6, what standard justifies that, and whether it happens again. That is the policy signal buyers should track. Government pressure is now part of the AI launch risk. Watch another AI news brief, or subscribe for the next update.